Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a really fascinating topic. The actual architecture of a perfect day. We've gone through a huge stack of sources on this.
And we're not talking about, vague goals here.
Right.
We are digging into an incredibly granular, detailed set of daily routines.
Right, so this isn't just about habits as ideas.
Not at all. We're treating them as these precise, small building blocks that really shape our physical health, our mental state, and ultimately how much we can actually get done.
And what's amazing is how detailed these sources get. They go way beyond just, I wake up and drink coffee. It's about the why behind every single action, the intentionality.
Exactly. And our mission today is to connect those tiny, repetitive actions to, powerful, measurable outcomes.
So showing you, for example, how a 1-minute action like making your bed can actually build momentum for the whole day.
Yes, or how setting up your planner isn't just about your schedule, it's about organizing your brain.
What always strikes me in this research is the power of structure. You'd think it would feel rigid, maybe even boring, but the data consistently links this kind of routine to lower stress. So what's the evolutionary reason for that? Why is structure so soothing?
It's all about cognitive load reduction.
Okay.
So breaking that down. When your day is automated, your brain doesn't have to spend energy making hundreds of minor decisions. And that mental energy you save, it's then available for the deep work.
That makes perfect sense. So let's unpack that structure, starting right from the beginning. The intentional start.
Mastering the morning.
The first few minutes are just so crucial, aren't they? They set the whole tone emotionally and physically. The sources point to a wake-up time around 6:30 a.m.
Which is described as that not too early, not too late sweet spot.
Right.
And that timing is intentional. It tends to work better with our natural cortisol cycles. But the real technique isn't the time on the clock. It's what you don't do.
Which is?
You do not jump out of bed immediately.
That jolt. I think we all know that feeling. It sends you straight into a kind of fight or flight mode.
It absolutely does. The recommendation is to take just a minute for slow, deliberate breathing.
Why that specifically?
You're activating the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, right away. If you start your day in a panicked rush, your body floods with stress hormones. And the source material is very clear. The whole day can inherit that initial stress.
So a peaceful start sort of inoculates you against the chaos that's coming later.
Exactly. So after that minute of calm, then you start the physical activation. But again, gently.
We're talking about stretching arms, legs, back, while still sort of lying down.
Right, to wake up the muscles, generate a bit of energy. It's a huge contrast to standing up too quickly.
I've done that. You get dizzy.
And that completely undermines the whole gentle start. So once the body is primed, the next step is non-negotiable. The power of light. Open the curtains.
And this is more than just so you can see where you're going, right?
Oh, absolutely. Sunlight, specifically that blue spectrum light, sends a direct signal to your brain's master clock. It basically tells it to stop producing melatonin. It's a powerful, natural cue to switch into daytime mode.
And this is where we get to what our sources call the momentum habit. It sounds so simple, but I think it has this immense psychological weight. Making the bed.
It takes 1 minute, maybe less, but it's highlighted as the first success of the day.
It's a completed task.
It's a completed task. It triggers a positive feedback loop. You get a tangible win, a sense of control over your environment before you've even left the bedroom.
And then after that first win, hydration is the next step. Drinking water immediately.
Because your body is, of course, dehydrated after sleeping for hours. And did you notice the detail in the sources?
Warm water.
The option of warm water, yeah. Cold water is fine, it's bracing. But warm water can be more relaxing, a bit gentler on the digestive system first thing.
And even before eating, there's another pause for mental calibration. 5 minutes of silent time.
Just sitting, eyes closed, breathing slowly. It's a simple meditation. It's stress reduction as a preventative measure.
You're front-loading calm.
You are. You're building up a reserve of calm to handle the stressors that will inevitably come. And only then do you eat.
The breakfast suggestions are all pretty light but nutritious. Oatmeal, bread, eggs, fruit.
And that one specific recommendation really stood out. Yogurt with honey. It's called out as being great for the stomach. The whole point is to feel energized, not weighed down.
So with that morning routine established, the next phase is all about maximizing focus for the workday.
Right. We're moving into habits designed to reduce friction and really lock in that deep focus.
And the very first action of the workday is check the planner. The source material really emphasizes this as a tool to keep the mind organized.
And the cognitive advantage there is huge. It's called externalization of memory.
Okay.
Our working memory is. It's very limited. So when you write down your tasks, you free up all that mental RAM you'd otherwise be using just to remember what's next.
It just lowers the cognitive load.
Dramatically, which is what makes true focus possible.
And this leads right into the to-do list strategy. And the sources are very specific here. Write tasks in order. Important tasks first, small tasks later.
This is critical. It's practical priority setting. If you knock out a big, important task first, often the one you're dreading, you get this huge boost of momentum.
And you avoid the trap of spending all day on little low-impact things like answering easy emails.
Exactly. But then the great saboteur of any well-laid plan shows up.
The phone.
The phone. The source puts it very bluntly. Phones steal a lot of time.
Okay, but let's push back on that for a second. For a lot of people listening, their phone is their planner. It's their main communication tool. So is the advice just put it far away? Is there more nuance?
The source is pretty firm on physical distance, but the mechanism is what's key. Silent mode and physically separation.
Okay.
If you need the phone for, say, a Pomodoro timer, the goal is to kill the distractions, the notifications. The physical distance stops that subconscious reflex to just pick it up whenever you feel a tiny bit bored or stuck.
You're creating friction, a barrier to the distraction.
Exactly. And that same idea of clean boundaries applies to your physical space, the desk. A messy desk creates confusion.
Mental clutter follows visual clutter.
It really does. A clean desk should only have what you absolutely need. Your notebook, a pen, your laptop, a water bottle. It simplifies the environment, and that simplifies the task.
And to keep that focus going without burnout, the method suggested is super specific, the 25-minute work and 5-minute break method.
The Pomodoro technique. And it's not arbitrary. It's based on how our brains actually work, on these natural cycles of focus called ultradian rhythms.
I see.
Most of us can only sustain really high-level focus for about 90 minutes straight. But working in these 25-minute sprints with guaranteed little breaks, it maximizes your efficiency and stops you from ever getting truly fatigued.
So once that work structure is solid, the focus then shifts to, well, maintenance, keeping the body and brain running smoothly.
Right. This is about sustaining your energy and your capacity for growth throughout the day.
So for physical health, the sources give 2 really accessible options, a simple walk every evening or yoga.
And yoga is specifically praised for making the body feel flexible and the mind feel peaceful.
So what's the science there?
Well, both of those are low-impact ways to regulate stress hormones like cortisol that build up during the day. A walk provides that rhythmic movement that's great for stress, and yoga adds in flexibility and breath work, which just reinforces the calm from the morning.
Then there's eating habits. The sources focus a lot on how you eat, not just what you eat. The strategy is small meals throughout the day. Why is that better than 3 big ones?
It's all about stabilizing your blood sugar. A big meal causes a huge insulin spike, which then leads to
The crash, the food coma.
the food coma, exactly. Small, balanced meals keep your glucose levels steady, which gives you sustained, reliable energy. No peaks and valleys.
And there's a very clear warning. Avoid too much sugar. That quick high is tempting, but the tiredness that comes later just kills your afternoon productivity.
It's that classic sugar rush and crash cycle. It's incredibly disruptive to a day that you're trying to build around focus.
And the last habit, probably the simplest, water. The goal is 6 to 8 glasses. The technique for actually doing it is just environmental.
Just keep a water bottle nearby. If it's visible, if it's within arm's reach, you won't forget. And that constant hydration prevents that mental fogginess that so many people mistake for exhaustion.
When really, it's just dehydration.
Often, it's just the first sign of dehydration, which really impacts your cognitive function.
Now, moving on to mental growth. The first habit is reading for 30 minutes a day. Books, articles, news, and the technique is to actively highlight new words.
Highlighting is so important. Just letting your eyes drift over the words, that's passive reading. It doesn't guarantee you'll absorb anything. Highlighting forces you to engage.
And the next learning habit is auditory, listening to a podcast every night. And the benefits are specific, improving pronunciation and speaking.
And this is where it gets really powerful. The source encourages you to actively practice by repeating sentences you hear.
So not just listening.
No, it's engaging your motor pathways.
Yeah.
When you actually say the words, you're solidifying the sound, the mouth movements. The memory becomes much stronger. than if you just heard it.
And to make sure none of that learning gets lost, the final piece is note-taking, always writing down new words.
It's multi-sensory reinforcement. You've heard it, you've seen it, maybe you've said it, and now you're writing it. That physical act of writing is a huge boost for memory.
So as this very intense, structured day comes to an end, the final section is all about the wind down, relaxation, screen management, and preparing for good sleep.
Right, and the evening relaxation part is pretty flexible. It could be a walk, music, a relaxing show, even a quick 10-minute cleanup.
Which, like making the bed, gives you that last little sense of control and order for the day.
Exactly. But the mandatory habit, the one that's not flexible, is the screen barrier. The rule is firm. Put the phone away 30 minutes before you plan to sleep.
And this is based on hard science.
Absolutely. The blue light from screens is extremely effective at suppressing melatonin, which is the hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. If you mess with that, falling asleep is harder and the quality of your sleep suffers.
So instead of scrolling, the recommended activity is journaling. Just a short entry every night, maybe 5 or 6 lines.
And this habit has this incredible dual value. First, it helps you process your day. It's a form of what's called metacognition.
Can you explain that for the listener? What does metacognition achieve?
Metacognition just means thinking about your thinking. When you journal, you review your day's actions and feelings, but without the heat of the moment. It helps your brain file away what happened, find the lessons, and get some closure.
So your mind isn't just running in chaotic loops when you're trying to fall asleep.
Precisely. And the second benefit is simple. You're actively improving your writing skills. It's a quiet habit that pays off in mental health and communication.
And all of this leads to the ultimate goal: high-quality, restorative sleep. The sources suggest a bedtime of around 10:30 or 11 p.m.
To make sure the brain gets that deep sleep it needs for memory consolidation and emotional regulation. It's non-negotiable.
So we've just mapped out an entire 24-hour cycle of intentional living, from that first quiet breath in the morning and making the bed, all the way through a structured workday into an evening of learning and reflection.
And the central insight here is that every single action we talked about, no matter how small, drinking warm water, putting the phone away 30 minutes early, it's tied to a specific psychological or physical benefit.
These aren't just random suggestions.
No, they're actions with predictable results, all designed to help you manage your energy and your focus.
So what does all this mean for you listening right now? We'd really encourage you to try describing your own daily habits with this kind of detail. That's how this knowledge turns into real change.
Yeah, think about that foundation we discussed. The power of organizing your mind through planning, of setting up those small, repeatable wins. We saw that 5 minutes of quiet time in the morning can lower your stress for the entire day.
So if one tiny intentional habit can shift your trajectory that much, what other single intentional habit could you add today to really redefine the architecture of your tomorrow?
Something to think about until our next deep dive. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.